There was a beautiful city called Noor Nagar. This city was far from the noise of the day and filled with the peace of the evening. As night fell, its streets lit up with a soft glow, not harsh or blinding, but gentle and sweet, as if moonlight had descended upon the earth. The air carried a faint fragrance, perhaps from roses placed somewhere in the distance, or the aroma of warm tea drifting from a shop. Small stores lined the streets, where people laughed and chatted with one another, lost in their little worlds without a care in the world. At the heart of the city lay an old lake, so still that the moon's reflection was perfectly visible in its waters. Many people came here just to capture the moon's glow in their eyes. An old woman sat by the lake every night, telling stories, stories that lightened hearts and turned memories into something sweet. A young man, Aarav, who had recently arrived in the city, found himself at the lake for the first time that night. He had set out on a walk to unburden his heart, but as he felt the serenity of the city, his soul grew calm as well. He noticed how people here found joy in the smallest things. Someone savoring a small piece of sweet, someone else singing a tune that made the night even more enchanting. As the night deepened, Noor Nagar never became a city of darkness. It remained a city of moonlight, of love, and of those who sought solace in life's little moments. Aarav realized that happiness doesn't always lie in grand things, but in the little joys we often overlook. He looked up at the moon, took a deep breath, and felt his heart grow lighter. That night, Noor Nagar had won yet another heart, the path of moonlight. The next night, Aarav returned to the same lake. The sky was just as clear as before, like a page from a storybook. The moon cast its glow, weaving new magic over the city. As he stood there, his eyes caught sight of a little girl sitting by the lake, writing in a small diary. Aarav walked up to her and gently asked, "What are you doing here all alone?" The girl smiled and said, "I am writing the story of Noor Nagar. My father says this city is not just about lights, but about dreams. Whoever comes here finds their heart at peace." Aarav smiled and glanced at her diary. It read, "Noor Nagar is a place where the darkness of the night only brings peace, never fear." At that moment, Aarav realized that Noor Nagar was not just a city, but a feeling, one that gave every weary soul a new light. He thought, perhaps this city was the beginning of a new journey for him. Under the moon's glow, the two of them looked into the still waters of the lake, as if searching for a hidden dream within. Once again, Noor Nagar was writing a new story. A few days later, the city was preparing for its grand annual festival, the Festival of Lights. It was said that on this special night, every house, every street, and even the lake would be adorned with glowing lanterns, each carrying a wish into the sky. Aarav found himself enchanted by the preparations. People hung lanterns outside their homes, children ran through the streets with small paper lamps, and the scent of freshly baked sweets filled the air. The old woman by the lake told Aarav about the festival's legend, that Noor Nagar's first lantern was lit by a traveler who wished for a city where no soul ever felt lost. Since then, every lantern lit carried the dreams and hopes of its people. That night, Aarav stood by the lake once more, holding a lantern in his hands. The little girl stood beside him, smiling. "Make a wish," she whispered. Aarav closed his eyes and whispered his wish into the lantern. As he let it go, he watched it rise, joining hundreds of others, painting the sky in a sea of golden light. For the first time in a long while, Aarav felt truly at home, and Noor Nagar, the city of moonlight, continued weaving its magic, turning every night into a dream, every soul into a storyteller, and every wish into a glowing light in the sky. As the festival came to an end, Aarav found himself drawn deeper into Noor Nagar's charm. He started visiting the old woman more often, listening to her stories and sharing his own. The little girl, whom he learned was named Anya, continued to fill her diary with stories of the city and dreams of the future. One evening, as Aarav strolled through the glowing streets, he came across a small bookshop tucked away in a quiet corner. Inside, he found shelves filled with handwritten books, each one a collection of stories from people who had visited Noor Nagar. The shopkeeper, an elderly man with kind eyes, smiled and said, "Every visitor leaves behind a story here. Noor Nagar is not just a city, it is a living tale." Aarav picked up an old book and flipped through its pages. He recognized the handwriting of the old woman by the lake, the careful words of Anya, and even a few entries from travelers who had once been lost but found themselves here. Inspired, Aarav picked up a pen and wrote his own story in an empty book. It was a story of a man who arrived in Noor Nagar with a heavy heart and left with a heart full of dreams. As he placed the book on the shelf, he knew he had become a part of Noor Nagar forever. The city of Moonlight had given him not just peace, but a new beginning. Days passed, and one evening, as Aarav walked along the lake, he noticed a narrow, winding path illuminated by tiny glowing orbs. He had never seen this path before. Curious, he followed it, feeling as if it were calling him towards something special. The path led to a small hidden garden, where an ancient stone bench rested beneath a tree covered in golden blossoms. Sitting there was the old woman from the lake, smiling as if she had been expecting him. "Welcome, traveler," she said. "You have found Noor Nagar's secret, the place where dreams turn into stories." Aarav sat beside her, mesmerized by the peaceful aura of the garden. "What do you mean?" he asked. She handed him an old weathered book. "This is the first story ever written about Noor Nagar," she said. "It is said that those who truly belong here will find their own name written in its final pages." Aarav hesitantly opened the book. As he turned to the last page, his breath caught. His own story was already there, written in golden ink. A warm breeze rustled the leaves, and in that moment, Aarav knew. Noor Nagar had chosen him, just as he had chosen Noor Nagar. From that night on, he was no longer just a visitor. He was a storyteller, a guardian of the city's magic, and a part of its eternal tale. As the days passed, Aarav found his purpose in Noor Nagar. He became a storyteller, a guardian of dreams, and a beacon of hope for those who arrived with burdens. He spent his nights under the moonlit sky, sharing tales with travelers, lighting lanterns by the lake, and helping lost souls find their light. One evening, as Aarav walked through the glowing streets, he realized that Noor Nagar was no longer just a place. It was home. It had embraced him, healed him, and in return, he had become a part of its everlasting magic. With a heart full of peace, Aarav looked up at the night sky, where the lanterns still floated like golden stars, carrying dreams into eternity. Noor Nagar had whispered yet another story into the wind, one that would never fade. And so, the city of Moonlight continued its timeless tale, waiting for the next traveler who needed its warmth, its glow, and its magic. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. You can also make it a little more engaging. Did you enjoy this magical story? Let us know in the comments, hit the like button, and subscribe for more beautiful night tales.